I was born unwanted. When I was 3, my mother left me and fled the country. When I was 5, my brothers poured chili water down my throat. I smiled and told them it was delicious. Noah, my youngest brother, would sometimes leave me stranded outside kindergarten, while David and Joseph cornered me with the other children, blocking my way to the bathroom, laughing as I squirmed in shame. One day, the little girl next door fell ill. I caught her sickness too. My father didn't hesitate to scoop her into his arms and rush her to the hospital, but for me, he had only cold words. "Go die somewhere far away," he spat. Years later, his tears would betray his remorse. "Rosie," he would beg, voice trembling, "could you just call me Dad one more time?" I would clutch the hem of my shirt, my lips opening and closing like a fish out of water, unable to speak. The sky darkened, the clouds bleeding from gray to black. Rain hammered down in thick sheets, soaking my little hooded coat, chilling me to the bone. People hurried past, glancing at me with concern. "You should get inside," they urged. But I stayed. I promised my brother I'd wait for him right there. Good children get rewarded. Hours passed, and the storm finally softened, but my brother never appeared. Eventually, our butler, Mr. Henderson, found me. He exhaled a tired sigh that was swallowed by the morning traffic. "Miss Rosalind, your father has been searching for you everywhere." "My brother," I whispered hoarsely. "Master Joseph returned last night. You should come with me. Your father will be displeased otherwise." I feared my father's wrath far more than my brother's cruelty. As Mr. Henderson guided me toward the car, laughter drifted from the house. "That fool," Joseph's voice sneered. "I bet she's still waiting at the mall entrance. How can someone that dumb be our sister?" Noah fiddled with a toy truck. "She believes everything we say. She's so obedient. She'll crawl right back to us no matter what." David, the eldest, muttered with venomous disdain. "Why does she have to be my sister? Chloe next door is far prettier." "If only," his voice sank lower, almost a hiss. "If she weren't here, Mom might never have left." Shivering in the doorway, drenched to the skin, I watched their dark eyes flick away when they met mine. My father descended the grand staircase, his expression sharp. "What happened?" I couldn't tell him it was my brothers. I got lost yesterday. "Didn't I tell you to stay with your brothers?" "Not wander off," he demanded. I twisted the wet fabric of my coat. "I waited where I was supposed to," Joseph added with feigned innocence. "I told her to wait right there, Dad." "But the driver didn't see her when he returned, right?" My father believed him, of course. His voice thundered. "And you still won't admit it?" He pulled a cane from the umbrella stand. "Hand it over." I remembered the last time I'd been defiant. Locked in my room for an entire day, so neglected I fainted from hunger before anyone remembered me. I didn't want that again. I held out my small hand obediently. Crack. Pain shot up my arm, and tears welled immediately. "Do not wander off. Understand?" I will," I whispered. Louder. Another strike, harder this time. I will remember," I sobbed. Before lunch, he left for a meeting. The housekeeper changed my soaked clothes and set a single slice of dry bread before me. Joseph loomed nearby, contorting his face. "Crybaby," he mocked. "You tried to snitch. Did you think Dad would believe you?" I swallowed the bread quickly, stomach aching. Noah approached, holding a glass of water, his expression almost gentle. I was so thirsty. I tipped the glass back and drank greedily. "Do you like it?" Noah asked. I forced a smile and nodded. "Yes, that's good." Anything from my brothers had to be perfect. Then the fire hit. It scorched my tongue, burned my throat, and churned in my stomach. I collapsed to the floor, writhing in agony, while their cruel laughter filled the room. "I knew she'd drink it. She said it tastes good. Chili water is delicious, after all. Let's see if she dares tattle next time." I scrambled for water, but every sink was blocked. Desperate, I clambered onto the kitchen counter, twisting the faucet open and drinking straight from the tap. They laughed even harder, comparing me to some grotesque creature lapping up water. The cold water barely eased the burn. My stomach swelled painfully, tears streaming as I staggered 2 steps before vomiting onto the pristine carpet. The housekeeper scowled at me under her breath. "What is wrong with you? Just like your mother, always causing trouble. If you don't learn to behave, I'll have to tell your father." She helped me up, but my chest felt tight and suffocating. I clutched the small jade pendant at my neck, the last gift my mother had given me. Did she leave because I wasn't good enough? I'm trying. Mommy, when will you come back? After the mess was cleaned, I hid beneath my blankets, my stomach aching, my face burning. My bed felt cavernous and cold. I tossed and turned, but sleep refused me. Late that night, I heard the heavy steps of my father. I peeked through the crack in my door, hoping to tell him about my pain. His face was terrifying, grim, shadowed, like the monstrous wolves from storybooks. Why are you still awake? Can't you ever learn to behave? I stared at the cold floor, bare feet trembling. Was I still not good enough? Is that why Mom left? My lip quivered as tears threatened to fall, but he sighed and lifted me back into bed. No more willfulness. Understood? Yes, Dad, I whispered. He tucked the blankets around me, phone ringing before I could mention the pain. He answered, then left. Always busy. Always gone. As I drifted into a feverish sleep, my mother appeared in my mind. She had left when I was 3. I remembered that day at the amusement park, telling my father she wanted to ride the carousel with me. He had erupted in anger. Eleonora, are you really using your child to manipulate me? Have you no shame? Their shouting had been terrible, echoing in my ears. But we went to the park anyway. Mom promised ice cream and told me to wait, but then a butterfly caught my attention. I chased it, and when I turned back, she was gone. My father had arrived soon after, a swarm of men in black suits at his heels, shutting down the park. His first glance was predatory, monstrous. Where is your mother? I cried, and from that moment, she was gone. My 3 brothers were convinced it was my fault. So I tried. I tried to be good, to obey. Maybe then she would return. The next morning, the housekeeper dragged me out of bed for school. My stomach ached, so I went to the bathroom and recoiled at what I saw, a strange dark streak, red-tinged, staining everything. Miss Rosalind, if you linger any longer, your brothers will leave without you. The housekeeper's voice called impatiently through the door. I flushed, climbed onto the toilet, and silenced the evidence. At kindergarten, halfway through playtime, the pain returned, sharp and insistent. I had to go, now. Joseph and his friends blocked my path. The harder I cried, the wider their smiles grew. The urgency became unbearable. A warm, yellow stream ran down my legs, pooling around my shoes. A stench filled the air. My world shattered into fragments, sharp and humiliating. Disgusting. How can you be my sister? Joseph sneered. Rosie wet herself, the other kids chorused. Shame. 5 years old and still wetting your pants. Frozen in humiliation, tears pouring, I was finally rescued by a teacher. She cleaned me up, gave me fresh clothes, and said accidents happen to everyone. But I knew this wasn't just a mistake. I saw the disgust in their eyes. Nobody would ever want me as a friend again. After school, the driver came for my brothers. I tried to get in. David blocked the door. Don't even think about it. You smell, you're filthy. Big girls like you don't soil themselves like this. Even the driver looked at me with disdain, a flicker of disgust that wasn't the teacher's gentle concern. My cheeks burned, I lowered my head and stepped back. David slammed the door. It's not far. You can walk. I was used to being left behind. I walked from daylight into shadows. When I reached home and pushed the door open, Chloe from next door sat on the sofa, crying. My 3 brothers surrounded her, comforting her. But the moment they saw me, their faces twisted in fury. Did you steal something from Chloe? Hunger and thirst made my legs tremble. The room tilted around me. I didn't take anything, I whispered. David lunged, snatching the jade pendant from my neck. Chloe says this belongs to her. If you didn't steal it, then what is it? For the first time, a surge of anger ignited inside me. I grabbed his hand, trying to wrest the pendant back. It's mine. Mom gave it to me. I didn't steal it. David froze, caught off guard. Noah's sneer was sharp. Mom hated you. Why would she give you anything? If Chloe claims it, then it's hers. My father returned at that moment. His gaze swept over the scene. What is happening here? Tears blurred my vision. I didn't take it. I swear. I pleaded. Chloe clutched Joseph's sleeve, sobbing. But I have one just like it. My daddy gave it to me. My father's expression stiffened. You'd better tell the truth. I didn't take it. Mom gave it to me. I cried. Chloe's grandmother arrived from next door. Our Chloe does have a jade pendant, she confirmed, voice heavy with certainty. It looks exactly like that one. All eyes turned to me, filled with the same disgust I had felt at school. Liars deserve punishment, David said coldly. Give it back. I shook my head. No. It's mine. I won't give it away. My father's towering figure loomed. Then his hand struck my cheek, sharp and stinging. Lying now, are we? He hissed. I fell to the floor, scraping my arm, tears pouring freely. Even if you hurt me, I didn't take it. He clenched his fists but finally relented. She clearly values it. I apologize. We'll make sure she's compensated. Chloe's grandmother waved it off. It wasn't expensive. If she likes it, she can keep it. My father's voice dropped to an icy command. Henderson, get the jade piece from the auction the other day. Yes, sir. He handed Chloe a jade pendant 10 times larger than mine. Her tears stopped. My brothers piled her up with treats and toys they had never shared with me. My stomach growled loudly. Their eyes snapped to me. Panicked, I fled upstairs and hid in my room. Later, the housekeeper called me for dinner, but I refused, clutching my aching stomach. After a long wait, I heard my father's distant voice. Let her be. In the dead of night, pain racked my body. Every inch ached. I felt fragile, like the tiny hamster at kindergarten that had gone stiff in its cage. I crept out of my room. A light glowed in the living room. At the top of the stairs, I saw my father and Chloe's grandmother. She knelt, weeping. That pendant was the last thing Chloe's father left her, she sobbed. The shock brought on a high fever. If she doesn't get to a hospital soon, it could be fatal. Please, will you drive us? My teacher had told me that if someone was sick, they could go to the hospital. Maybe if I went with Chloe, I could see Mom again. Maybe she would forgive me. My legs wobbled as I descended the stairs. Dad, I croaked, voice thin. My stomach, everything hurts. I want to go to the hospital. The grandmother sank to her knees again, pleading. Miss Rosalind, please, any delay could be too late for Chloe. My father's eyes flashed with pure contempt. Just like your manipulative mother. Disgusting. He moved toward the door. Pain twisted my stomach into a hard knot. Dad. I clutched his sleeve. I can go with Chloe. He shoved me aside. Faking illness for attention? Starving yourself to erase your crimes? Die somewhere far away, if that's your plan. I crumpled silently to the floor, too stunned to cry. From above, my brothers watched, grins cruel and sharp. You hurt Chloe, David said. This is your punishment. How did the George family end up with a sister like you? Noah added. A liar and a thief. Joseph's smile was wicked. Here's the deal. If you can get Mom to answer, maybe we'll forgive you. I dared to hope. And you'll be kind. Like with Chloe? Give me snacks and toys? Comfort me. All three nodded. Of course. You're our sister. They led me to the basement and locked the door. David tossed a phone at me. The first number is Mom's. If you reach her, we'll let you out. This is your punishment for stealing. I clutched the phone, dialing again and again. The screen lit up, then went dark, over and over. And then someone finally answered. I told you, I'm not coming back. Stop calling me. The voice was instantly familiar, and tears sprang to my eyes. Mommy, I choked out. It's Rosie. Mommy. I repeated her name over and over, terrified she might hang up. Words poured from me like a broken dam. I should have waited for you, Mommy. I shouldn't have chased the butterfly. I was bad. Pain twisted in my stomach, and every breath felt like fire, making my head throb. Mommy, my tummy hurts. Everything hurts. My brothers, they miss you too. Mommy, when will you come back? My voice trembled, small and desperate. On the other end, I heard a soft sob. I'm not coming back, sweetheart. Your father will take care of you. Don't pretend to be sick just to trick me. Liars get no one's love. Her voice was gentle now, and she hadn't hung up. I sat up, frantic. I'm not lying. The boys, they don't like me. Dad called me a thief. I've learned my lesson, Mommy. I won't chase butterflies anymore. I'll listen to you. Please, can you take me with you? Suddenly, her tone snapped sharp. I said, I'm not coming back. Tell Jimmy George to stop wasting his time. I didn't understand. But Mommy, I'm so hungry. My brothers won't let me out. I'll be like that little hamster at kindergarten, they'll bury me. Her voice became shrill, angry. I said I don't want you. Call your father. And it's not because of a butterfly. I don't want you. Any of you. Do you understand? Mommy doesn't want me? It wasn't that I'd been bad. She simply didn't want me. My hand fell limply to my side. The screen went dark without me noticing. The tiny point of light vanished, leaving me in total darkness. It wasn't because I was bad. Even if I tried my hardest, Mommy wouldn't come back. They were all liars. Everyone lied to me. A raw scream tore from my throat, echoing in the cold, dark basement. I cried until my body had no strength left, my throat burning. I collapsed onto the hard floor and eventually drifted into a fitful, exhausted sleep. My mind became a storm of chaos. One moment, I saw my brothers, their faces twisted with cruelty as they cornered me. The next, my mother appeared, watching me chase the butterfly before walking away. Then my father, hand raised, eyes icy with hate. Through it all, my mother's voice rang louder than any sound. It's not because you were bad. It's because we don't want you. Do you understand? I woke with a strangled cry. Still in the basement, pitch black, I couldn't see my own hand. I was too weak, too hungry to even rise. My fingers reached into emptiness. I truly was hated by everyone. A despised child. Like the tiny black hamster at school, bullied by all, hiding in the corner until its body stiffened, then buried by the teacher. Inside my chest, something pounded frantically, desperate to escape. The last flicker of hope, the last spark of life, seeped out through my tears. I don't know how long I lay in that dark basement. Time felt strange there. There was no light to mark day or night, only the distant hum of the house above me. My stomach wasn't as painful anymore, not because I felt better, but because the ache had consumed me entirely. It was like being underwater, unaware that you're suffocating. Sometimes, I thought I heard footsteps above, creaking floorboards, voices that might have belonged to my brothers or the housekeeper, but they seemed distant, unreal, like they were coming from another world. I pressed my ear to the cold concrete floor and listened to my heartbeat. Thump, 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 thump. Still alive. The little hamster had stopped, but I kept going. Maybe I wasn't meant to be buried yet. The phone lay somewhere nearby. My fingers found it, cold and lifeless. I pressed the button. The screen glowed faintly, a pale blue in the darkness. The battery was almost gone. 12:47 a.m. How long had I been trapped here? I tried to count the hours, but my head felt fuzzy. Since after dinner? We never had dinner. Since sunset? But when had the sun gone down? My thumb hovered over Mom's number. I don't want you. Do you understand? But maybe if I called again, said it differently, promised to be better, promised I would disappear forever after she came for me, just once just to say goodbye properly. Maybe then she'd answer. I pressed the number. It rang once. Twice. The number you have dialed is not in service. I tried again. Same message. She had changed her number. The phone slipped from my fingers and clattered to the floor. Darkness swallowed me again. Only my heartbeat and ragged breathing remained. Then I heard them. Footsteps on the stairs, slow and careful. A key turned in the lock. The door creaked open, spilling light down the wooden steps. I squeezed my eyes shut. The hallway light was blinding after so long in darkness. Miss Rosalind? It was Mr. Henderson. Not my brothers, not my father, just him. His voice was gentle, worried. I tried to sit up, but my body refused. Everything felt heavy and strange. Oh, my dear child, he murmured as he hurried down the stairs. What have they done to you? Strong arms lifted me off the cold floor. I wanted to apologize for being a trouble, for making him come down, for being the kind of child who got locked away, but my voice was only a raw whisper. Am I in trouble? He knelt slightly, his voice softer than I had ever heard. No, child. You're not in trouble. He carried me through the kitchen toward the front of the house. The smells of warmth reached me, soup, maybe, or tea. Living things. Comfort. Where is everyone? I whispered. Your father took Miss Chloe to the hospital hours ago. Your brothers are asleep. He paused at the bottom of the grand staircase. I realized no one had brought you dinner. Or breakfast. Or lunch. I didn't say anything. He set me gently in a chair. The lights were harsh after the darkness, making my eyes water, but I could see him clearly. His usually neat gray hair was messy, and deep lines carved around his eyes. How long have you been down there, Miss Rosalind? Since they locked me in. To call Mommy. He froze for a moment, then reached for a bowl. And did you? Call her? She changed her number. She doesn't want me to call anymore, I muttered, voice flat. Mr. Henderson was quiet for a long time, then ladled warm soup into a bowl. Real soup, with vegetables and tender meat, not the dry bread or chilly water my brothers offered. Eat slowly, he instructed, placing it in front of me. Your stomach needs time. The first spoonful felt like sunlight in my mouth.
Warm, safe, real.
I wanted to gulp it down, but his hand rested gently on my wrist, reminding me to take it slow. Mr. Henderson? I whispered between spoonfuls. Am I going to die like the hamster? His face tightened, as if he were holding back tears. No, Miss Rosalind. You're not going to die. But everyone hates me. Dad said I should die far away. Mommy doesn't want me. My brothers think I'm disgusting. I stirred the soup, watching the vegetables swirl. Maybe it would be easier if I just died. Then everyone could be happy. He knelt beside me, eyes level with mine, serious and unwavering. Listen carefully, Miss Rosalind. You are not responsible for other people's happiness. You are not responsible for your mother leaving, for your father's anger, or for your brother's cruelty. Understand? I didn't. If it wasn't my fault, then why had all of this happened? You are only 5 years old, he continued gently. You should be safe, cared for, loved. None of what happened to you is your fault. The warm soup made my body feel slightly stronger, but his words tangled in my mind. But if I was good enough... You are good enough, he interrupted firmly. You always have been. I wanted to believe him. But if that was true, why did I always feel so alone? Why did my own family look at me as if I were something dirty they wanted to throw away? What happens now? I whispered. Mr. Henderson straightened, smoothing his vest. First, finish your soup. Then we get you cleaned up and into bed. Tomorrow, he glanced toward the front door. Tomorrow, we'll see what comes. But the worry in his voice betrayed him. Tomorrow felt uncertain. In the distance, the rumble of a car announced my father's return. Mr. Henderson stiffened. Quickly, he urged, lifting me gently. Let's get you upstairs before he sees you. I tried to move faster, but my legs shook like jelly. By the time we reached the bottom of the stairs, the front door had opened. Father stepped in, his face drawn and fatigued. Behind him, Chloe's grandmother dabbed at her eyes with a handkerchief. Both froze when they saw me. What is she doing out of her room? Father's voice was sharp, edged with exhaustion. And something else. Something like guilt, though I wasn't sure. Sir, Mr. Henderson said carefully, Miss Rosalind has been in the basement. Since yesterday evening. Father blinked. The basement. Master David said it was her punishment for stealing. The silence that followed was heavy, stretched like held breath. Chloe's grandmother looked between father and me, her expression shifting from confusion to shock. Jimmy, she said softly. How long has she been down there? Father's jaw tightened. Henderson, take her upstairs. We'll discuss this later. As Mr. Henderson carried me again, I heard Chloe's grandmother whisper, That poor little thing. Jimmy, what have you done? For a fleeting second, before we rounded the corner at the top of the stairs, I saw a flicker on Father's face I had never seen before. It looked almost like shame. The next morning, I woke in fresh pajamas in my own bed. For a moment, I forgot where I was, and my heart raced. Then I noticed Mr. Henderson sitting by the window, reading the morning paper. Good morning, Miss Rosalind, he said softly. How do you feel? My stomach still ached, not with a sharp twisting pain of the basement, but a hollow, empty ache, as if I were made of fragile paper. Is Father angry? I whispered. He folded the newspaper and set it aside. Your father is thinking about sending me away? I don't know, child. But I want you to remember, you have done nothing wrong. Do you recall what I told you last night? I nodded, even though it didn't fully make sense yet. Your brothers have left for school, he continued. Would you like some breakfast? I wanted it, but fear held me back. What if Father was waiting downstairs? What if new punishments were set for me? As if reading my mind, Mr. Henderson stood. Your father is at work. The housekeeper is out. It's just you and me. He led me to the kitchen and prepared toast with butter and jam. Real food, not the dry bread I was used to. He even poured a full glass of orange juice. Mr. Henderson? I asked between bites. Why are you being kind to me? He paused, pouring his own coffee. Because everyone deserves kindness, Miss Rosalind. Especially children. But I'm bad. That's why Mommy left. No, his voice was firmer than ever. Your mother left because she made a choice. Adults make decisions, and sometimes those choices hurt children. But it's never the child's fault. I wanted to believe him. But if it wasn't my fault, why did everyone act like it was? Will you tell me about her? I asked quietly. About Mommy? He sat across from me, his face shadowed with sadness. What would you like to know? Was she pretty? Did she love me when I was little? I asked, my voice small. She was very beautiful, Mr. Henderson said slowly. And yes, when you were born, she loved you dearly. She would carry you, sing to you, read you stories. Then why did she leave? He was quiet for a long moment. Sometimes, Miss Rosalind, people become so sad inside that they cannot see the good in life, even when it's right in front of them. Your mother, she was deeply sad. Because of me?
No, child.
Not because of you. It was things that happened before you were born, the way your father treated her, the fear, the loneliness she felt trapped.
I thought about that.
I knew what it meant to be scared and alone. But she left me too, I whispered. If father made her sad, why didn't she take me? Mr. Henderson reached across the table and covered my small hand with his. I don't know, Miss Rosalind. Sometimes people make choices that even they don't fully understand. But you must know, it wasn't because you weren't enough. You were perfect. You are perfect. I finished my toast and juice, helping him wash the dishes afterward. It felt good to do something normal, something useful. Then, the front door slammed. My brothers were home early. Where is she? David called from the hallway. Where's the little thief? My heart sank. I looked at Mr. Henderson with wide, terrified eyes. Stay here, he said quietly. I'll handle this. But it was too late. Joseph appeared in the doorway, his uniform messy, his face twisted in anger. There you are, he spat. Do you know what happened? Do you know what you've done? Noah and David followed, storm clouds of fury in their eyes. What's wrong? Mr. Henderson asked, stepping between us. Chloe nearly died, David said, voice shaking. She spent the night in the hospital with a high fever. The doctors said she went into shock. Because of her, Joseph pointed at me. She stole Chloe's necklace and lied about it. That's enough, Mr. Henderson said firmly. Miss Rosalind has suffered enough already. She's suffered? Noah scoffed. What about Chloe? What about us? Everyone at school knows our sister is a thief. I wanted to vanish. I wanted to sink through the floor and hide forever. I didn't steal it, I whispered. Mommy gave it to me. Liar. David stepped forward, but Mr. Henderson blocked him. I said that's enough. All of you, go to your rooms. You can't tell us what to do, Joseph said. And you are children, Mr. Henderson replied. Children who need to learn compassion. Compassion? David's face turned red. For her, she's ruined everything. First she drove Mom away. Now she nearly killed Chloe. When is enough enough? His words hit me like punches. Tears poured down my face. She's crying again, Noah said with disgust. She always cries when she's caught. Crocodile tears, Joseph added. Just like Mom. Mr. Henderson's voice became cold and commanding. If you do not go to your rooms right now, I will call your father and report everything I have witnessed. Something in his tone frightened them because they actually obeyed. But as they left, David cast one last glance back. This isn't over, he said. You'll pay for what you did to Chloe. I collapsed into Mr. Henderson's arms, sobbing so hard I could barely breathe. I didn't steal it, I kept repeating. Mommy gave it to me before she left. She put it around my neck to keep me safe. I believe you, child, Mr. Henderson whispered, stroking my hair. I believe you. That afternoon, while my brothers were confined to their rooms, Mr. Henderson made a phone call. I wasn't supposed to listen, but I perched on the top stair and overheard him. Yes, I understand this is delicate, he said, but something must be done. This child is being systematically mistreated. I can no longer stand by and watch. A pause followed. I've been with this family for 12 years. I've seen everything. The way they treat her, it's not discipline. It's cruelty. There was another pause. I don't care about my job, Mr. Henderson said softly into the phone. I care about that little girl. When he hung up, I scrambled back to my bed and pretended to be asleep, though my heart was racing. Someone might help me, or maybe Mr. Henderson would get in trouble for defending me. I must have drifted off, because the next thing I knew, a gentle shaking woke me. Miss Rosalind? Someone is here to see you. I opened my eyes. It was twilight, and a kind-looking woman stood in my room. She was older, her gray hair pinned neatly in a bun, her eyes warm. "Hello, dear," she said softly. "I'm Mrs. Patterson. I'm a social worker. That means I help children who may be having a difficult time at home." I glanced at Mr. Henderson, confused and frightened. "Am I in trouble?" "No, child. Mrs. Patterson is just here to ask you some questions. You just need to tell the truth." She perched on the edge of my bed. "Rosalind, can you tell me what's been happening these past few days? About your brothers and the basement." I looked down at my hands. My father always said family matters stayed inside the family, and I wasn't supposed to talk. "It's okay," Mrs. Patterson said softly. "I just want to understand. You won't get anyone in trouble." So I told her everything. About the chilly water, the rain, the basement. About my brother's cruel words, my father's cane, and how hungry and alone I felt. She listened quietly, taking notes in a small notebook. Her expression grew sadder with each word. "And your mother?" she asked finally. "When did you last see her?" "When I was 3. She left me at the park. Yesterday, I tried calling her, but my voice broke. She said she doesn't want me. She changed her number, so I can't reach her anymore." Mrs. Patterson glanced at Mr. Henderson. "And your father? How does he react?" "Mr. George is often absent," Mr. Henderson said carefully. "When he is home, he usually believes the boys over Miss Rosalind." "I see." Mrs. Patterson closed her notebook. "Rosalind, none of this is your fault. Children deserve safety, care, and love. What's been happening is not acceptable. But where will I go?" I asked, fear bubbling up. "If I'm bad, where will I go?" "You're not bad, sweetheart. We'll find a safe place for you, somewhere you can be happy." Just then, the front door slammed. Father's voice boomed through the house. "Henderson, what is going on? Why is there a government car in my driveway?" Mrs. Patterson stood. "I need to speak with your father. Mr. Henderson, will you stay with Rosalind?" I clung to his sleeve. "Are you going to leave too?" He knelt beside me.
I don't know, child.
"But remember this. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of kindness. Somewhere, there are people who will see how special you are. What if there aren't? What if I'm always alone? Then you'll learn to love yourself," he said gently. "And that will be enough." Downstairs, voices rose. Father, Mrs. Patterson, my brothers, all arguing, denying, protesting. "Are they talking about me?" I whispered. "Yes," he said. "They're trying to decide what's best for you. And if they decide I'm too much trouble," his hands held mine firmly, "then they would be wrong. But Rosalind, you must be brave now. Promise me that, whatever happens, you'll remember you deserve better." I nodded, though unsure of what I was promising. Minutes later, Mrs. Patterson returned upstairs. Her face was serious but kind. "Rosalind, I need you to pack some things. You'll stay with me tonight, just until we can decide on a longer-term solution." My stomach dropped. "Tonight? I have to leave." "I'm afraid so, dear. It's not safe for you to stay here right now." I looked around my room, the big bed, the toys I hardly ever played with, the window overlooking the garden where I sometimes watched other children play. "What about Mr. Henderson?" I asked. He smiled sadly. "Mr. Henderson has been brave in standing up for you, but he can't come tonight." I threw my arms around him, holding him tight. He smelled like soap and coffee and safety. "Thank you," I whispered. "For the soup."
For believing me.
"You're very welcome, Miss Rosalind. And remember, everything is going to be okay." Mrs. Patterson's house was small, cozy, and smelled faintly of freshly baked cookies. She showed me to a little bedroom painted cheerful yellow, with curtains patterned in daisies. "This is where children stay when they need a safe place," she explained gently. "Just for a little while, until we find them a forever home." A forever home. The words felt almost too wonderful to believe. That evening, she made me a cup of hot chocolate and let me watch cartoons on TV. Real cartoons, not the educational programs father approved of. When a little of the drink spilled on the couch, I began to cry, certain I would be scolded. But Mrs. Patterson simply cleaned it up. "Accidents happen, dear. That's what cleaning supplies are for." She tucked me into bed and read a story about a lost bunny who eventually found his way home. As she read, I realized it was the first time in years someone had read to me just for the joy of it, not as a reward or a lesson. "Mrs. Patterson?" I whispered when she finished. "What will happen to me?" She smoothed the blankets around me. "First, we'll make sure you're healthy. Tomorrow, A kind doctor will check on you. Then, we'll find a family who will love and care for a special little girl like you. But what if no one wants me? What if I'm too broken? Her eyes softened. Oh, sweetheart, you're not broken. You're hurt. Hurt things can heal with love, care, and time. Will I see my father or brothers again? She paused, thoughtful. I don't know, dear. That will depend on many things. But right now, the most important thing is keeping you safe. That night, I listened to the quiet hum of a peaceful house where no one yelled and no one was cruel. For the first time in days, I felt I could breathe. The next morning, she made pancakes and let me help flip them. When one fell to the floor, she didn't get angry or punish me. Every child should know how to make pancakes, she said. It's an important life skill. After breakfast, we went to the doctor. I feared someone harsh, like father, but Dr. Williams was gentle and kind. You're a very brave girl, she said, checking my heartbeat. And very strong. I don't feel strong, I admitted. The strongest people are often those who have faced the hardest trials, she explained. Being brave doesn't mean you aren't scared. It means you keep going, even when you are. She gave me a lollipop and reassured Mrs. Patterson that, although I was underweight and showing signs of stress, I could fully recover with proper care and nutrition. Children are remarkably resilient, she said quietly. Given stability and love, they can heal from almost anything. That afternoon, Mrs. Patterson let me pick out clothes that fit properly and choose a stuffed animal. I selected a small brown bear with a red ribbon. What will you name him? She asked. Hope, I said softly, though I wasn't sure why. As we walked back to the car, I spotted a familiar figure. Mr. Henderson was loading groceries into a vehicle I didn't recognize. Mr. Henderson, I called, running toward him. He turned, smiling sadly. Hello, Miss Rosalind. How are you feeling? I'm okay. Mrs. Patterson is nice. She makes pancakes and doesn't get mad when I spill things. I'm glad to hear that, he said, kneeling to my level. I have something for you. From his coat pocket, he produced a small wrapped package. What is it? I asked. Open it and see. Inside was a photograph, my mother holding me as a baby, smiling down at me with love. I found it in your father's study, Mr. Henderson said softly. I thought you should have it. I traced her face with my finger, stunned. She looked so happy, so different from the angry voice I heard on the phone. She did love me, I whispered. Very much, he said. And she still does, even if she can't show it right now. Mrs. Patterson caught up to us. Mr. Henderson, I presume? Yes, he said. I thought it might help her remember that she was wanted once. That was very thoughtful, she said. Before he could leave, I grabbed his hand. Are you okay? Did father fire you? He smiled, this time truly. Actually, Miss Rosalind, I resigned. After 40 years of service, I decided it was time for a change. Because of me? Because you helped me. Because it was the right thing to do. And I would do it again 100 times over. I hugged him tightly, and he hugged me back. You're going to have a wonderful life, he whispered. I know it. 3 weeks later, Mrs. Patterson brought me to meet Sarah and Michael Chun. Their house had a large backyard with a tire swing, and they had been waiting a long time for a little girl to join their family. Sarah had gentle eyes and soft hands, while Michael showed me the beginnings of a treehouse he was building, just in case their new daughter wanted adventures. We know you've faced very difficult times, Sarah said, as we sat in the living room sipping lemonade. But if you come to live with us, you'll never have to be afraid again. What if I'm not good enough? I asked, the question that had haunted me for weeks. Michael knelt beside my chair. Rosalind, we already love you. Not because of anything you've done or haven't done, but because of who you are. You don't need to earn our love. It's already yours. I held the photograph Mr. Henderson had given me, which I now carried everywhere. Can I keep this? Of course, Sarah said. And if you want to talk about your first family, that's fine too. We're not trying to replace anyone. We just want to be part of your story. They had prepared a room for me. Soft green walls, white furniture, shelves filled with books, a window seat with cushions, and a dollhouse Michael had built himself. Do you like it? Sarah asked, her voice nervous. I nodded, unable to speak through the lump in my throat. It was the most beautiful room I had ever seen, and it was really mine. That night, Mrs. Patterson tucked me into my new bed. How do you feel, sweetheart? She asked. Scared. I admitted, but happy scared. Is that okay? Absolutely. New beginnings are always a little scary, even when they're good. Mrs. Patterson, will you visit me? Of course. And you can call me anytime you need to talk. She kissed my forehead and left the door open a crack so I wouldn't feel trapped. I lay in the dark holding Hope, my bear, listening to the quiet warmth of the house. Sarah and Michael's soft voices drifted from downstairs, and an owl hooted outside in the oak tree. For the first time in my life, I felt truly safe. 2 years passed before I saw my father again. By then, I was 7 and had been Rosalind Chin for nearly as long as I could remember. I had friends who invited me to birthday parties, parents who came to school plays, and cheers when I rode my bike without training wheels. My life was filled with bedtime stories, Saturday pancakes, and unconditional hugs. The nightmares had mostly faded. I still flinched when voices rose, and I still apologized too much, but Sarah and Michael patiently taught me that I was allowed to exist fully, to have my own opinions, feelings, and space in the world. I thought of my first family sometimes, but those memories felt distant, like they belonged to someone else. One Saturday morning, Mrs. Patterson called. "Rosalind, dear, I need to tell you something. Your birth father has requested to see you." My stomach sank. Why now? I think he wants to apologize, to make amends. But it's your choice entirely. You don't have to see him if you don't want to. I looked at Michael, flipping pancakes in the kitchen, and Sarah, reading the newspaper at the table, the parents who had chosen me, who had shown me what real love felt like. "I want to see him," I said, surprising myself, "but I want Mom and Dad to come with me." Mrs. Patterson arranged the meeting for the following week, at her office where I had first felt safe. When we arrived, my father was already seated, looking smaller, grayer, and more fragile than I remembered. His expensive suit couldn't hide how broken he seemed. "Rosie," he whispered, barely audible. I tightened my grip on Sarah's hand. "My name is Rosalind now. Rosalind Chen." He flinched as if I had struck him. "Of course. I'm sorry." We sat across from him, Sarah and Michael flanking me like protective shields. "I wanted to see you," he began, hands trembling, "to tell you I'm deeply sorry. For failing to protect you, for not believing you, for letting them hurt you." The cold, angry man of my memories was gone. This man looked haunted and lost. "Where are my brothers?" I asked. "David is at military school. Joseph and Noah, they're receiving help. Counseling. Seeing the truth of what we did to you made me realize I failed you completely as a father." "Why?" The words slipped out small. "Why did you hate me?" Tears ran down his face, and I'd never seen him cry. "I didn't hate you, Rosalind. I hated myself. I hated the life I had after your mother left, and instead of facing that pain, I took it out on the one person who reminded me most of her. I was 5 years old. You were. You deserved love, care, and kindness. I gave you none of it." Sarah squeezed my hand, a reminder I was safe, that I had a choice. "Do you want something from me?" "Forgiveness?" I asked. He shook his head. "I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know it was never your fault. You were always worthy of love. Seeing the young woman you've become, it gives me hope that maybe some good can come from the past." I looked at Sarah and Michael, my real parents, then back at the broken man before me. "I'm happy now," I said. "I have a family who loves me. I'm not angry, because being angry would steal energy from being happy." A flicker of relief crossed his face. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. "This belonged to your mother, her grandmother's ring. Maybe, when you're ready, you'll want it." I shook my head. "You can keep it. I have everything from her I need." I pulled out the photograph Mr. Henderson had given me, now in a frame. "This shows she loved me once. That's enough." As we left, he called softly, "Rosalind, can you just call me Dad one more time?" I saw the desperate hope in his eyes, the same look I once had. But I wasn't that little girl anymore. "I'm sorry," I said quietly, "but you're not my dad. You never were." Hand in hand with Sarah and Michael, I walked out, leaving my past behind. Outside, Michael lifted me high while Sarah laughed and snapped pictures. "Ice cream?" Michael asked. "With extra sprinkles," Sarah added. As we drove away, I glimpsed my father through the window, still sitting in that chair, sobbing like the lost little girl I once was. But I wasn't lost anymore. I was found. I was loved. I was home. Epilogue. Years later, when I had children of my own, Sarah showed me a letter from Mr. Henderson, who had moved to the countryside and opened a bookshop. "Dear Mrs. Chen, Rosalind was the brightest light in that dark house. Even at 5, her strength and goodness could not be broken. Thank you for giving her the life she deserved. She was meant for happiness, and I'm so grateful she found it with your family. By then, I understood. My story wasn't about the family who broke me. It was about the family who put me back together. Love is not earned, it's deserved, simply because you exist. I kept the photograph of my mother, but framed it alongside images of Sarah, Michael, birthdays, Christmas mornings, and ordinary days made extraordinary by the gift of being wanted. The little girl who waited in the rain, locked in a basement, told she wasn't worthy, she grew into someone who knew her own value, who could give love freely because she had received it freely. She had found her way home, and that, I knew, was the only story that truly mattered.